Welcome back to another video. If you're new, my name is Leah and I am all about spending less, creating more, and sharing with you how you can do the same thing in your kitchen. It's actually been several weeks since I last shared a video and I am so excited to get back into the groove of things. We're gonna start with our meal plan, how I save money on my grocery haul, and then we're gonna go over into Walmart. You may know by now that I like to meal plan backwards. I've been doing it for so long, it doesn't seem backwards at all to me anymore, and hopefully I've inspired you to do the same. I first check out my fridge for leftovers, produce, any kind of meat, things that need to get used up before they go bad. First of all, so we don't have food waste, and second of all, it's less items that we have to put on the grocery list for later. Doing a quick scan first before you get into the store helps you know what snacks you actually need to pick up, so that way you don't buy duplicates or a whole new variety of things that's going to just cause other things to get forgotten about. I also do a glance of my condiments because the last thing you want to have happen on French fried chicken nugget night is to have no more ketchup for the littles. So ask me how I know. Make sure you check before you go into the store. Now, you know I absolutely love to save money, but that still doesn't keep me from adding things to our meal plan just based on what sounds good, not just because we have items on hand for those things already. So even if I have 0 ingredients for a meal, I can still add it to the meal plan because me or the kids or Dakota requests it. It sounds really good. The craving hits, and that's what you want to put on the meal plan. So not every single meal on our meal plan is based on my pantry, but you get the gist. It really helps. Once I've got the meal plan mostly figured up and it's based on what we have on hand, I fill in the rest with those special requests from the family and finish off the grocery list, making sure not to forget anything that we're going to need in order to make those meals happen. And then I go into my Kroger and Walmart app to see which location actually has the better deal on things. Sometimes I can get everything at Kroger. Other times it's better for me just to get everything at Walmart. And sometimes I go to both. Which leads me to my next money saving tip, which is to utilize Walmart grocery pickup. You can even do delivery, which I know comes with a fee. You might be thinking, well, that doesn't save me money. But in the long run, you know your schedule better than anybody. And at the end of the day, time is money. So I think it's totally worth it. I can see my total before I check out. I can edit it even after I submit it in case I forgot something. And then I can show up at the store after work or in between different appointments. I didn't have to spend my time in the grocery store. I wasn't going to be distracted by other items that I saw. My kids didn't have to be tired and fussy after school being there with me. It just works out easier sometimes that way. And I will be honest, the Walmart pickup order through the month of December was the only thing that got me through. I even did Walmart deliveries. We were sick. All kinds of things happened, and it truly was a lifesaver. So if you haven't checked that out yet, I highly recommend it. The delivery comes with a fee, and I tip the driver. The pickup is free, and it's super easy. If you find yourself getting to the register, everything's getting scanned, and you see the total and you wonder, how in the world did I get to $150 already? This technique actually keeps that from happening. If you are on a serious budget and you have to make sure you stick to it, or you really, really want to stick to that budget, then I suggest at least starting with the app before you get into the grocery store, because you don't have to write anything down or use a calculator. It tallies everything up for you, so that way you know what to expect, whether you check out from the app and do the pickup order or delivery, or you use that as a guide before you get into the store and pick up everything in person. Because there are benefits to buying things in person, such as if there's a substitution, you can handpick exactly what you want without predetermining what you'll let them pick out for you. You can also keep your eye out for clearance deals, any kind of rollbacks that you may not actually see in the app. And sometimes they say things are out of stock on the app and don't even give you the option of putting it in the cart, whereas in store they do have it. So there are pros and cons with both, but overall, using the app, whether you check out from there or not, is a great way to save money. There's no surprises when you get to the register, so I definitely recommend it. The last thing I like to do on my phone before heading into the grocery store, other than filming content for you all, is to make sure I've checked my Ibotta rebates app. Now, it is different than coupons because you have to pay full price for items and then you get the cash back into the app, but it's totally convenient. And some of those items are things that were already on my grocery list. They have sometimes any brand of milk or any receipt, no matter how small or what's on it. and sometimes the exact brand and quantity of things that I'm wanting to buy. It's just so worth it to check that out first. The last tip I wanted to share for this video before we go grocery shopping is to go ahead and buy some convenient items, things that may cost a little bit more than your standard do-it-yourself groceries. Why in the world would I suggest that? But here's why. Because I'm human and I know my boundaries. Whenever you're having an off day, you're exhausted, somebody gets sick, the schedule gets crazy, something happens because it's life, you're gonna really, really hope and wish that you actually had something convenient at home so that way you don't have to do a drive-through, or worse yet, muscle through and make the meatloaf because that's what you have to make. So buying the frozen pizza, the canned soup, the frozen lasagna, those are things that are really great to have on hand. I don't suggest filling your pantry with those items unless you want to, of course, but I like to have at least one option that is going to fill everybody's bellies, help us feel good, know that we saved money because it would have cost us $40-something somewhere else. So keep that in mind. Convenient items, while they can be pricey, they're still less than takeout. I like to do one last sweep through my pantry before I head out to the grocery store because a lot of times there's a couple of days between making my list versus actually getting to the grocery store. I want to make sure that there's plenty of convenient breakfast items for my kids, things for Dakota to take to work, make sure that we have enough bread, peanut butter, things like that. So this grocery trip, I don't really need a whole lot of things for my pantry or my freezer, but my fridge needed some attention. Another really big way to save money before you go grocery shopping is to make sure you are hydrated and you are fueled, because if you are hungry whenever you go to the store, you're probably going to be buying a lot more than you intended. I have been so ready to get back into the store. I'm finally feeling like myself again, and it was so nice to be in there in my own little world of grocery shopping heaven. For the most part, I really enjoy going into the grocery store as long as I don't have fussy kids with me or a lot of other things on my agenda, and I'm able to just focus on what I really am wanting to do for my family, and I have a clear headspace. Like I said, I was so sick and just a lot of other things going on in December that I just was make it through, kept the meal plan basically the same from week to week with some parties mixed in. So coming in here, seeing all the different flavors of hummus was very special for me. Like, I was excited. This honey jalapeno one is delicious. I swapped it out for the smaller one, but I definitely recommend it. It is sweet and spicy, just like you would expect. And these are one of my favorite things to pick up. I pair it with honey and those little pretzel crisps. And I love that they're individually wrapped so they don't go bad like a big block of brie does. So definitely recommend those things. Of course, you can't have enough cheese. You always have to have more cheese, it feels like. And Walmart has a really great price. We can get sucked into the Kroger sale price, but it's really not that much cheaper on a regular basis when they do those big sales. And these Cantina style chips literally are the same as On the Border, in my opinion. I've tried them. I'm pretty picky about tortilla chips. The corn chips are exactly the same as Fritos as well. But when it comes to Oreo, you gotta get the Oreo brand. Anybody with me? I was actually going to make an Oreo dessert for the football party, but they were out of my pudding I needed, so I bought this mix instead. And then I wanted to just use some convenient cans of beans for the chili instead of the dry beans I had at home. I had a last minute meal to make with them, and I just didn't take the time to pressure cook my dry beans. It's just cheaper that way, but here is a really good convenient meal. It's delicious, totally worth the price. And then I decided to buy plastic cheese to make that 80s or 90s recipe where you use the Rotel and the chili no beans with Velveeta and make a dip to have with chips. So by the way, if you're not buying your tomato paste in a tube, I totally recommend it. It just stays good for so long. It's really convenient. You don't have to open a can and try to transfer the leftovers to something else. This week I was using that and the beef broth for a big batch of chili, and I also wanted to make sure that we had a convenient frozen pizza and salad for dinner one night, along with some loaded fries. So I will put in the description box how I use that recipe in a sense, and I like getting ideas from you too, what kind of loaded fries we should do next. Now, I know this is a more expensive cut of meat. You don't have to get that kind. In fact, one of my money-saving tips for convenient meats is to get this Smithfield pork tenderloin. It's already marinated, super easy to cook, Now they do have more expensive kinds at Kroger, but I like to get them when they're on clearance. Now when it comes to fresh produce, I am picky, and with bananas, I am the pickiest. I don't think any Walmart pickup order person quite understands the perfect color of a banana. It has to be the perfect shade of yellow-green. So keep in mind, if you do happen to use the pickup order, you might end up having some produce that just doesn't quite fit up to your standard. And sometimes I have gotten some that's actually spoiled. Now it's really easy to do a return and get your money back in the app if you do have an issue. Now if it's just an issue on ripeness level or your preference, then I let it be. But if something has actually gone bad, I make sure I do my digital return and get that refund. So all of that said, it was so exciting and really refreshing to get back into the grocery store, pick out everything that I wanted. I could be picky, I could take my time, and I didn't have my kiddos with me. Now there were some things that I didn't get put onto the recording for you. I picked up some heavy cream, caramel sauce for coffee. There was some extra drinks for our party that I picked up, and even a chili packet. So my total at the grocery store was $141 and some change. I think I did pretty well. Our budget, hopefully for the month, is going to be $500. We might go to $550. Now, if you are interested in this kind of meal planner that I use, I will have it down in the description box. I think it's amazing, and I use the wet erase marker so that way it doesn't smear whenever people bump up against it. So this is what our meal plan is Sunday through Saturday. We do have the Rose Bowl this week. I was really excited to have some friends over. That's when we did our chili and some appetizers, that Velveeta dip and chips. And then I used those leftovers for taco salad the next day. So for Taco Tuesday, we use leftovers. And that's how it works a lot of times in this house. It can be a themed dinner or tacos, for example, but that doesn't mean we're always going to use ground beef or chicken. It could be leftover roast. So that's another way we save money. Like I mentioned earlier, we were doing a frozen pizza with salad on one of our busy nights, and then that easy pork tenderloin with some cooked rice and vegetables for Thursday. Now Friday is going to be loaded fries. I think I'm going to make them taco style with ground beef, or maybe the rest of that chili that we have. Now I do think that this meatloaf is actually going to be pushed out to following Monday, because we are planning a date night on Saturday for just Dakota and I. I don't know where we're going yet, but I'm hoping it involves steak. Finally, this little section on the meal planner is where I like to put meals for Dakota and I to have for lunch. So chicken and rice bowls, a salad with grilled chicken. I got a whole batch of chicken seasoned and baked in the oven the same day that I got the groceries. That way I can have one bag cooked in the fridge and then another in the freezer for the following week. So hopefully this video gave you some inspiration. And of course, until the next one, I will see you in the comments.